Greetings, multimedia students. Welcome to chapter 3, which deals with a detailed approach to web design. In this first presentation, I'm just going to use it as an introduction or as an overview to web design. We will go into detail in the coming lessons, but remember, all the practical lessons, we'll actually do them in the computer lab, and we'll be coding web pages together until the end. So this is just to cover the theory behind some of the things that we'll cover in the classroom when designing websites. Websites have been around for some time, and people who are good at it have actually earned quite a living from it, and the market is still there. So if you can master this art of designing good websites, you can earn yourself some extra money on the side, on the go, as you do a main job somewhere, or you can make it as a hobby, you can make it as a side hustle, as a part-time work. Whichever way you look at it, there's still money to be made from designing good web pages. There are many businesses out there, many individuals out there who would like a good website, but they don't know who to turn to, or they are too afraid to go to these big companies because they don't want to be charged exorbitant fees for design. So you as a freelancer, you as a self designer, you may charge them quite affordable fees. So before we start building websites, there are a few things that we want to get out of the way or to clarify, so that going forward it would be a smooth and very professional ride. Our goals or our aims in this lesson is to design websites that abide by the known rules, or in other words, de facto standard for every aspect of your site design. We are not going to discuss everything. I mean, it will take us the whole year to do that, but maybe just a few guidelines to to start designing web pages. Just a few guidelines, and then we'll pick it up from there and move forward. If you design good websites from the start, it will help you a lot. Sometimes it is very difficult to correct. Once a website has been published or has been put online, it is very, very difficult to go about trying to correct that website. So designing it from the good one from the start is the best way to do it. There are, if you remember, the fonts, the types of fonts that you use also. There are certain fonts that we must stay away from when designing websites. So we are going to discuss quite a number of items, but I will try to keep it short. Ladies and gentlemen, this sounds funny. This sounds very funny. The good news is that anyone can create a web page or a website. It's good news. Then the bad news is that anyone can create a web page or website. It sounds funny, but it's true. Nowadays, with the availability of the internet and free website building softwares, anyone can create a web page for themselves. Look at Facebook. Look at Twitter. All those are websites in a way, and people are doing it on their own without any formal training. It's a good news, but it's also a bad news, because those websites are built, but they don't follow the standard procedure or the rules or the guidelines the scientifically, professionally proven guidelines of building websites. That is where we come in. When we are asked to design a website, we are practitioners, so we charge a fee. It's just like saying every mother is a doctor, but does it replace the qualified doctors? Does it take away the job of the nurse? No, but every mother is a doctor. They can tell you my child is not feeling well. They can tell you my child need a Panadol. But they still need a doctor. So it's the same. No matter how many website designing tools they may come up with, they will still need you, the professional, to do a proper job. So that is why we are doing this course, so that we fill that gap. If all doctors were to resign today because Google is telling people, is diagnosing people, it won't be a good health system. We still need trained, highly qualified doctors to run the health system. So we cannot resign the professional designing of websites to the internet and say people have got a free software where they can design websites. So we don't need, it's just like drivers. We have got professional drivers, but most people drive their own cars. You don't say, I'm not going to a driving school because there are so many drivers around. You don't do that. Or you say, I no longer want to take driving as a profession because nearly everyone can drive. No, you don't do that. You still need professional truck drivers, professional bus drivers to make the world move on. And those guys are well paid. Although you can drive, but there are certain things that you cannot do. So the same thing with web design. That's why we are doing this course. So to summarize my point, I can say that the reason why we need principles is because bad web design isn't creative. It is annoying. Bad web design is annoying. If we replace all the doctors and say all the mothers can diagnose their own children, we'll be burying children in their thousands, ladies and gentlemen. It won't work. The same thing with web design. If all professionals, we as professionals, surrender the design of web pages to everyone, to anyone who thinks they can design, we are going to get a mess. That's why we need professionally informed or professionally trained people like you to do our web design. So in the same vein, ladies and gentlemen, it is true that yours is not the first web page or site your customers will have visited. They visited thousands of other websites. So when they finally come to your website, they've got some expectations on how it should work or how it should look. It is because they've got experience from somewhere. Now, the danger is you violate these expectations at your own cost. Once customers come to your site and they don't get what they expect, they go somewhere else. Because remember, there's thousands, if not millions, of similar websites where the customers can get what you are offering. So, very, very important to make sure when you're designing websites, you do the right thing. Here is a quick tip, ladies and gentlemen. Here is a good tip. If you want to design a certain website, go on the internet, check on the most visited website of the area that you want to design. There you get an idea. We are not saying go on the internet and copy what other designers did, but you get an idea of how they do it. The reason why they are visited over and over again is because they implemented certain standards or certain principles. So Try to use that as a de facto standard when you are designing your own. Don't invent the wheel. The wheel has already been invented. You can improve on the existing wheel, but trying to create your own, surely it might leave you being very pained, because the wheel has been designed, it's already there, just improve on it. Use better material, use better color, use better size, etc. It's the same thing with websites. Websites have been in existence for some time now. So you trying to get into the area of designing websites, you are already going into an area which has been in existence for some time. Just improve what is already there. Here, I'm just going to highlight some guidelines for the usability of your homepage. Remember, your homepage is the first page where a user lands when they click on your, or when they put in your website domain name.com or .co.za. This is the first page where your users land. So it is very important that your homepage is usable. The usability of your homepage will make customers come back and back again to it. So let's see the guidelines that you need to follow when you design your homepage. Don't keep your users guessing. Once they are in your homepage, they must not guess what your website is for. They must not guess. Make the site's purpose very clear. Explain who you are and what you do. Don't waste time. Don't play tricks on the users. Remember, some of the users are at your web page because they use the search engine to get there. And they know that in the search engine, there are hundreds of other websites that are listed. So your homepage should be straight to the point so that you attract or you get the attention of the user. Today's world is a very busy world. People are pressed on time. Take, for example, the issue of students. They've got so many assignments to submit. Now, if it takes 10 minutes for a user to find what they need on your website, they will not come back there again. Help them find what they need quickly so that users don't waste time trying to search on your web page. Make them find what they need quickly. Another way to do it is to include a search input box so that when the users at your homepage and they cannot see it there, they can quickly go to the search box and type what they need so that they don't waste time. Help users find what they need quickly on your homepage. The reason why you build a website is to open to the public what is on the website. Don't hide the content, reveal it. Make it easy for the visitor to your site to find the content. Show examples of real site content. Begin link names with the most important keyword. Don't hide information under. Don't use funny names which do not reveal what content is there. Try and use the most important keywords. Offer easy access to recent homepage features. If you have changed your site frequently, have an archive of the stuff you have recently removed or updated. Some people will come to your site because when they visited your site last month, they got certain information. When you update that information, don't throw it away. Just archive it and give the users a link so that they can access the old. go to these big software companies. Go to Microsoft, for example, and you want to download certain software. They will show you the old versions of software is there, the latest one is there. They normally do not just throw away all the software. If they upgrade from Windows 7 to Windows 10 and you go to their site, you are most probably going to get a copy of Windows 7 for some time on their site. That is a very, very important, so that customers will find what they want, even what they got some time ago, they can still go there and retrieve it. Make it easy for them. Make it easy for them to get the old stuff that they used to get. Don't throw away all, even on the newspapers. If you go to the newspaper websites, you can scroll back. I'm not sure for how long, but you can scroll back some years back and still retrieve some articles that they published maybe 6 months ago or a year ago. Some newspaper sites, they keep a list of those old um, stories or old newspapers. They archive them and they allow you to access them. So it is a very important for users when they come to your site to be able to scroll back or to retrieve some old content that they once got from your site. You can learn from other websites. Don't over format critical content such as navigation areas. Some certain sites can give you an overview of what I'm saying. Keep your sites simple, straightforward, and complicated. Do not complicate your sites. The site I'm showing there of Google is one of the most visited sites in the world today. It's not complicated. It doesn't contain a lot of links, hyperlinks, not a lot of pictures is on the homepage, but nevertheless, it is one of the most visited websites. Why? Because it's simple, it's straightforward. Going there on the homepage, you don't have to struggle. You know exactly what to do, where to click, where to type in what you need to type, etc. This is a good example of a homepage design. Straightforward, customers don't get confused. As I said, hi, ladies and gentlemen, from the start, please design good websites from the start. It is easy as long as you follow a few basic steps. Websites, good websites must be designed from the start. Don't say I will start and then I will panel beat it later. It won't work like that. Because remember, websites will have links from one page to another. Websites will have link to tables, will link to pictures, will link to databases. So once the design is bad from the start, it will be very difficult for you to correct it later. Just design a good website from the start. Make it a point that when you start designing a website, it is a good one. That way you will save yourself a lot of trouble. A good way to do this, is to use the paper rule. Don't start coding. Don't start putting together pictures on your website. Use a paper. Take a plain sheet of paper, a blank one, and start from there. Because it is there when you start that you poorly design or you design an excellent website. So start it from a piece of paper. If it makes sense, then move it over to the screen. You will find that that way your creativity will actually be better. There are three parts, so to say, of web design. We design websites for the information, design for the user to get the information. We also, the second part is for the interaction. We design it for the interaction, the way the customer interacts with your web page. And finally, We want the presentation side of the website, how it's going to be presented to the users. Those are the three basic parts. So I'm just going to touch information design. The message that you want to give to your audience, the message, and to which audience in particular is this message directed to. You don't design a website for all the audience, from children, adolescents, etc., etc. Most websites, they target a certain audience for a certain purpose. For example, our college website, honestly, we are not targeting to children who are going to preschool or to children who are in grade 3. We are targeting to mature young adults who want to follow a certain career in life. They've decided they want to follow a career, or if they've not decided, but they know that they need to get a career. And when they come to the college website, it must help them. There's a purpose for that website to market the courses that we offer, the training programs that we offer. That is the purpose. And also, background of the website. Very, very important. The background and the structure of the website. It's very, very important to so that when users get to your homepage, they don't get confused. If they want to register, the structure should not confuse them. Do not put too many things on the homepage. Just make it simple so that the users, they know where to go. If they want to get their results, they know where to click. If they want to look for courses, they know where to click. If they just want to see the graduations, they know where to click. Just make sure your information on the homepage or on your website is clear, it's not confusing. Most successful websites, they target a certain audience. They target a certain audience. Go to the soccer teams. They know which audience they are targeting. Go to the football teams. They know they are targeting soccer lovers who are following their team. And if you go there, you really see what they highlight. Even you visit their homepage, you see what they will be selling to make sure that their audience is catered for. Then soccer teams are not there to attract people who want to bank money. They are there to attract people who want to follow their team's progress or their certain soccer players. So that is what they concentrate on. So when you are designing a web page, know your audience and try and create content around that audience. In this part, I just want to look at design rules, basic design rules. There are things, if we don't mention them to you during training, you might not know they exist. When you visit a website, you might not know why they did certain things because no one has mentioned it, but we are going to mention those few. We won't cover them all, but we mention maybe the basic 4 or 5 main ones. The first one, home page usability. There's a small picture there of a home page. It must be usable. Your home page must be very, very, very usable. That's number one. Home page usability. You must worry that your home page is usable to the user. As soon as they land on your home page, is it usable? As I said, I'm just highlighting a few theoretical or a few principles or a few theories that have been proven scientifically. It is true, it has been proven over time. Reading from a screen is 25% slower than reading from my paper. Write 50% less text than you would normally write for a brochure or a paper. So if you want a brochure, please produce a brochure. But if ever you decide to put a brochure on a computer screen, remember that the information you can put is almost half of that information. So it's not because people don't want to spend time reading on screens. They just want to surf, scroll over, see the information, quickly go to the next page. Remember, the internet has got millions of pages. So if your information is like a textbook on a screen, hey, people don't have that time. Some people go to visit your website while they're traveling in a car, in a taxi, or they are waiting for their bus, or it's a break time, they're just having a cup of coffee, and so don't put a lot of information. That's why we are saying write 50% less text than you would normally write in a proper brochure or in a proper paper format. Very, very important principles. Remember the fonts that we did in level 3, topic 4. Multimedia level 3, topic 4. We spoke about these fonts, and we said we have serif and sans serif, where serif fonts have got tails. These are not good for your website. The serif fonts, they are good on paper, but they are not good on the screen. Sans serif is the best on the screen, and please stick to that. No matter how nice your serif font looks to you, but it has been proven over time, beyond reasonable doubt, that sans serif fonts are easier to read on the screen, and it has been identified that Vendana is the most readable font. Try to play around that. As I said at the beginning, don't try to invent the wheel. Just try to play around those proven facts. You may choose another font which is nearer to Vendana, Arial, for example, and the other ones that don't have tails. You can play around with them, but be sure to stick to fonts that do not have tails if you are going to put text on your website. Again, gentlemen and ladies, or ladies and gentlemen, always use black text on a white background as a de facto. Of course, there's no hard rule on this. You can change your background color, but the basic color that the user is expecting to see, or the easiest color that appeals to the user, is a white background and black text. If you decide to use other colors, it's fine. You are allowed, but don't use it moderately, knowing that the de facto standard in the industry is white background and black text. The rest of your page can be colored, but leave the main content area alone. Please don't play games with the main content area. If you have to change fonts, use a sans serif font like Vendana, Vitica, or Arial. I'm just saying Vendana, if you don't want to use it because it becomes boring using the same font over and over again, look for other ones. But remember, there must be a sans serif font, a font which does not have tails. All right. The coding part will come to it in the next slide. The coding part will come to it in the next slide. In the next slide, I'll be showing you the coding, the actual hard coding. Not slide, sorry, man. In the next lesson, in the next presentation, sorry. In the next presentation, I'll be showing you the actual coding, the code, what to code and put in your code so that you can run your website or execute your website in the next lesson. This lesson, I'm just giving you some guidelines and some overview and some theory information which you might need for your examination. This information, you need it for your examination because The examiner will ask you certain questions to know that, or to ascertain that you understand what web design is all about and what to do when designing websites and what not to do. The examiner will want you to know about web planning, etc., etc. That's why I'm sharing with you this theory before we move on to the actual coding of the web page. So this information, according to your syllabus, it's very important that you understand these principles. How wide should be your website? Not to worry about this one. You understand what I mean by width of the web page when we start coding. But just bear in mind that 800 by 600 is the sort of the normal standard when designing web pages, so that it can display on nearly all the screens that are available. Nowadays, there are so many screen sizes. We are designing for big billboards, we are designing for small cell phone, we are designing for tablets, we are designing for almost all the screen sizes. So the standard one is 800 by 600, but you can always use other styling techniques so that your web page can fit on any screen size. Don't forget, on the screen, scroll bars are very important. Those ones at the side of the screen or at the bottom, so that it makes it easy for the user to navigate. In case some information is under, it's very annoying to see that there is information under, and then you look on the screen, you can't get the scroll bars. Try and account for your scroll bars when designing web pages. Stay under 760 pixels, especially with your graphics. People will understand this. Some of these things, I'm just mentioning them, but when we start coding, you are going to understand what I mean by this wide and the width and the length of your text on the screen. You are going to understand why it is important to mind the width and the length of your web page. Now here, while we are designing, bear in mind that your users will be using data to download your page. Your users will be using different gadgets to visit your homepage. So there's a rule called the 30-30 rule for your main homepage, graphics and everything to under 30 kilobytes in size. It's a very, very difficult figure to keep. But look at Google. Look at Google. That's why their homepage is very simple, because they are trying to keep to this rule, 30 kilobytes. Everything on that page, combined, it must not exceed 30 kilobytes. Why? So that when users are visiting your homepage, it loads quick, very, very quick. 30 kilobytes can load in just a few seconds. Just a click and it's there. That will encourage users to come back to your site or to visit your site. If your homepage takes 2 minutes to download, people are not that patient. I'm telling you, people are not that patient. 2 minutes, you may think that it's a short time. Try to download a page and it takes you 2 minutes to open it. Users will not come back for it. Your other pages after the homepage, it can be bigger. Although this is difficult to keep, guys, when I used to design websites commercially, it was very, very difficult to keep this rule. I was guilty, but I was guilty of breaking this rule. But I'm telling you, if you can keep this rule, make sure your homepage is 30 kilobytes or less, or somewhere there. You will have people coming back to the homepage over and over again. Once people are at your homepage and they are navigating into your website, they can forgive you for making bigger files. But it is now their choice that they want to go in and see other parts of your website. But for them to arrive at the homepage, they must arrive there They must not struggle to open your homepage. They must not struggle. It must load very, very quickly for them to like to come back. Again, ladies and gentlemen, nowadays, logos are almost inseparable from home pages. You need to have a logo in your website. There is the guideline. It should be in the left hand side corner. I'm not going to go into the scientific explanation as why left hand corner. Please, I think we covered that in video production in topic 3, level 3. We did cover that, why certain things are coming on the left hand side of your screen and other things are coming on the right hand side of the screen. We did cover that in Multimedia level 3, chapter 3, when we spoke about video production. Include a tagline that explicitly summarizes what your site does. Homepage is just a summary, quick summary, so that when someone gets in there, they can quickly see what this site is all about. If they are interested, then they can click further. If they are not interested, they can go to another site. Design a homepage so that it is clearly different from all the other pages. Do not copy other pages. Users are easy to see that this homepage is just a duplicate of another homepage, and you just change names. They can see that this page looks exactly like so and so, but only the names have been changed. Try to be unique in your designs. Try to be unique in your designs. Here is another piece of advice. If you decide to communicate information about your school or department, include a homepage link called About. That gives users a chance to go and check the history or the background of your school or the background of your organization. Also, don't forget, people might visit your site because they want to contact the organization. If it is a school, they want to get a contact because they want to come and register, so they need a contact and they need to know who to phone, the phone numbers, etc. So please, these two about link and the contact link are very, very important. In your first task, that is task number 2 for Multimedia, you will be required to design a website, and these navigation buttons must be there on your web page. So please make sure you master how to design this one. No web page must be designed without the about and the contact us tag. All the other tag may be missing, but these two, ladies and gentlemen, they must be there. Otherwise, your home page will not be a good one. Obviously, ladies and gentlemen, your home page will have links or hyperlinks, that is links to other information, whether within the same web page or outside, but they will have links so that it is easy for people to move around. Right, now links are known to have certain colors. Please don't change these colors and use your own. You confuse the users. Just try to use the colors that are normally used: the blue, the purple, the red, the colors that are used for navigation. Try to use those ones. Try to stick to those ones. Also follow those rules. Don't use generic instructions such as click here. Don't use generic links such as more. If a link does something other than go to another web page, make sure the link explicitly indicates what will happen. Don't perform miracles with your links. A user is trying to go to another page, they click it and they see a video of national team playing in the World Cup. Yet the link did not actually indicate that is what is going to happen. Don't make your links, don't make users find miracles in your link. make sure that whatever is there, they know what to expect when they click a certain link. Don't surprise them. Another item, we will meet it during coding. I will quickly show you frames, how to code frames. These have been absolute or obsolete. They are no longer being used. They have been replaced by divisions. I'll show you how to code divisions. So stay away from the use of frames. It's tempting, very tempting to try and put frames in your web pages. But please remember, frames are no longer being accommodated in the latest HTML coding. So avoid using frames because of those reasons. Many browsers cannot print framed pages. Frames are so hard to learn that many authors write buggy code when they try to use them. Search engines have trouble with frames because they don't know what composites of frames to include in their index. So frames, whichever format, whichever way you look at it, they are not good. Try to avoid them. Try and avoid frames. Try and avoid frames. Now it comes to cascaded style sheets, or in short, CSS. These are very, very important. I'll make a lesson specifically for cascaded style sheets. We'll do them practically, but I'll also make a lesson and a presentation and make it available to you. So in future, I'm going to um, post a lesson on the use of CSS. Very, very important in your syllabus, ladies and gentlemen. You need to know how to use cascaded style sheets, the types that are available, why cascaded style sheets are so important in web design. Um, the nice websites that you see doing incredible things, they have used CSS to design them. So CSS is very, very important. CSS separates the style from the content. CSS makes your pages download faster. You may not understand it right now. Don't worry. Please just bear with me. We'll do it practically in class, and I'll show you um, what CSS is all about. CSS makes your site more accessible. CSS guarantees a consistent look and feel across your entire site. You see all these advantages, all these nice things we are saying about CSS. That is why a topic on CSS is very important. CSS is a sneaky way to make printer-friendly pages. The new Multimedia automatically supports CSS out of the box. So CSS is a very huge topic, which will dedicate a lesson to it, and will explain its use and its advantages and how to code it, etc., etc., and which types are available, where to use which type, and why use this type where, so that at the end you can use CSS every time you design web pages. You cannot design good web pages without using CSS nowadays. It's not done. It's not possible. So you will need to master CSS and use it appropriately to improve or to enhance the presentation of your website. HTML on its own is not enough. It's 30% of the work. HTML coding, I can say, is 30% of the work. CSS, oh, it will take you to many places. It will take you to many heights. We will do it practically in class, this one. Above all, above all, if we're designing websites, we want them to be accessed. So accessibility is one of the most important topics. We want them to be accessible. We want people with disabilities to access it, people with poor sight to be able to access our websites, people with less skill in using computers, their mouse skills are not that developed to be able to access our websites. So accessibility is one area where we are going to discuss whilst we are designing our websites. So for now, I'm just mentioning it so that We are aware that our websites need to be accessible to a variety of users. Not all users are the same. Some are expert users, others are learning, others have got disabilities, others have got poor sight, others have got hearing problems. So, but we need our website to be accessible to our target audience, regardless of what condition they are in. We need to tackle the area of accessibility. Don't worry on this one. We'll tackle it while we are designing our website practically. Despite all this research and all this work that has been done by experts with regard to websites and these guidelines that have been published and made available to us, still we have got sites which ignore these guidelines. Not all sites adhere to these guidelines. Other sites, they ignore these guidelines from the start. So, but there are consequences. If you ignore these guidelines, it's just like you ignore the rules of the road. You might succeed for some time, but you are assured if you continue ignoring rules of the road, an accident is awaiting you. Hopefully, it will not take away a life, but definitely it will cause loss of property and inconvenience to yourself and to the other users. So if you stick to guidelines or if you stick to the rules, you save yourself and a lot of other people a lot of trouble. Some of the simple guidelines that other websites flout or decide not to follow. Auto loading mid is annoying. You are trying to open you are in a taxi or waiting for your sitting in your tavern or your restaurant. You are trying to open to read some news. As soon as you get there, loud music is playing. Eish, it's so annoying. You are just trying to read a piece of news. All of a sudden, automatically, there's a loud music or a loud video that is playing. Eish. Some of the things are not necessary. We need to design websites that do not annoy our users. Look, for example, that website. Welcome to should have a top vertical alignment. It's not like that. And the welcome to graphics are necessary. Look at that graphic. Navigation is centered. An organized menu. Where is the menu there? Can you see? So such things, when you are designing in your own closet or in your own room, you may think you are doing a wonderful job, but look at this. Look at this. This person spent a lot of time coding or designing this site, but it's not a good site at all because the rules or the guidelines are not followed. Let's have a look at this one. A quick look at this one. All right. The title didn't include the state. Remember, this is an American website. JC Sheriff. It means it must be a sheriff of a certain state. The gun is wholly inappropriate. Why is there a gun there? The flash, click on webmaster and get a not found not. I mean, this website, this homepage, hey, no one will come back to it again. These are some of the things that when we are designing websites, we should avoid so that we don't annoy our users and our websites actually make sense. This is another educational homepage. I don't know if you go in there whether you are going to see it as an educational institution there. Of course, oh, it's urban university, but look at the picture. It does not depict an educational institution at all. It's a car with some funny guys there. So these are the guidelines that we were discussing. Your web homepage should be straight to the point, should not confuse your visitors or your customers or your users or your clients who visit your homepage. In closing, guys, let me just summarize and say, regardless of whether you use Micromedia, Microsoft page, or simply code by hand. There are some guiding principles or principles you need to remember whenever you design anything for the web. The web is a jungle. The web has got so many web pages. You can get lost there in the web. But when you design your own, we should see that a professional has actually designed a web page. Someone like you who sat in a classroom and went through the ropes or went through the steps of designing a website has actually designed a website. Your website should not be a confusing site, but it should be a site which gives the information that it must give. Please try and practice designing websites and try and follow guidelines. There are so many good tips on designing good websites that you can go in and research and embark. Once you start on a good note and people see that you are doing a good job, you will get more calls from customers. Even me, I can kick a football. Give me a uniform and give me a football. I can run with it in the stadium. But I'm not a soccer star. I'm not a soccer star. But I can kick a ball. So it's the same with web design. Many people, or everyone, as I said in the beginning, can design a website. But we need stars like you. We need stars like you to go in the field and do a proper job, so that we are proud that we have got people like you who can be relied upon and follow the guidelines to design good websites. Lastly, our goals again, just as a recap, final recap. We want to see why web designs guidelines are necessary. That was the purpose of embarking on this discussion or on this lesson. Discover how to find the de facto standard for every aspect of your site design. Number 3, discuss top 10 guidelines for homepage usability. I think we did that to some extent. Learn how to design a good web pages and websites from the start. I think we emphasized on that, ladies and gentlemen. We emphasized on that. I'm just recalling our goals for us going into this discussion. See how your choice of web page fonts impacts your page's readability. Remember, we spoke about the fonts. I'm just doing a recap. And we covered much more things. But in any case, we can't put everything on this lesson or on this presentation. We will cover more practical aspects of this in the classroom. Web design is a doing subject. You need to sit down and code and do the web design for you to learn and master how to do it. That we'll do in the limited time we have in the classroom. Limited time that we have in the class. Remember, chapter 3 of your syllabus is 40% of the syllabus. Chapter 3 on web design takes away 40% from your syllabus. So we need to do justice to this topic. So I will post more presentations. I said my next presentation will be on the actual coding, how to start the coding, how to code certain aspects, and how to get started in this exciting field of web design. We need to design good websites. The market is still there. Customers are still there. They need you. Let's meet again in the next lesson on the practical side of coding and designing web pages. Thank you for taking your time to go through this presentation. I hope it helps. Again, you are free to post your comments in the comment section. Thank you very much. Thank you.